Damn. Marvel Jesus.
I can see the future. Oh, what the hell? She didn't see that coming?
You see that coming?
That's not how it works.
Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down. And then Bob Iger is all like,
We've tended to shy away from politics. And in doing so, I think we've shied away from talking about issues that aren't political at all.
Who here's a key grip? Hit that director in the face. Really fucking hard. Oh, ow!
They're going to do the Mary Poppins thing. They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
oh, bitch, you killed Kenny.
Kenny.
You fat hoe.
He who controls the spice controls the universe. And the rooster.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Lorena Creole, and of course, this is the Spice Lounge show where we have lots of hot takes, spicy conversation, things to make you think, things to make you laugh, but in the end, just a bunch of friends talking about stuff we like and just enjoying each other's company, and especially enjoying the company of you guys out there in the chat. So I see you guys starting to filter on in. Good to see you. And of course, happy Valentine's Day. So you know how we start off the show before we bring in our esteemed panel of guests. You know I got to hit you with the hot topics. So when I talk about hot topics, these are those topics where, they're not the main theme of the show, but we're going to keep you guys informed about what is going on out there. Number one, straight from Godzilla official. In case you haven't seen it, I suggest you go and check it out. That is the trailer for the new Godzilla and Kong, the New Empire. Definitely go and check it out. I am totally Team Gojira, Team Godzilla, but he can hang out with Kong. That's all right. It's definitely not Toho Godzilla, but nevertheless, it's a good time. So I cannot wait for this to come out. Check out the trailer. The trailer is extremely dope. Next one, I'm not really too excited about, but dang it, we'll bring it up anyway. And that is the Fantastic Four cast was officially announced today. for Valentine's Day. We got Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Yvonne Moss Bacharach, and Joseph Quinn are the Fantastic Four. Now, I really can't remember the last Fantastic Four movie I thought that was actually really any good. And I kind of want Marvel to leave it alone, but they're going to do it. Set in 1963. So I look at this and I just want to go and pull up my my old Fantastic Four comic. But anyway, official announcement. That's what it is. It'll be in theaters July 25th, 2025. And our last hot topic, and this is the one that I am the most excited about, especially as a gamer, because Princess Peach Showtime is going to be available March 22nd. I've had my pre-order in for probably like 3 months. I cannot wait. It's a new trailer for the game. My girl, Mermaid Peach. I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait for this game to come out. Look at that. Mighty Peach. Ooh, man, there's going to be some mad feminists after this game comes out. But enough of that. So hopefully you guys are now caught up with the hot topics. So let's bring in some of my friends who are here to talk with me in the salon. First off, let's see. We have got Dre, aka Vash Sky from That Park Place.
Thank
How
you
you
so
doing?
much. I'm doing pretty good. Thank you so much, Lorena, for having me.
Oh, as always, I love that sound.
I do try. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I got to get my game up so I can start with those real cool sound effects as well. But I'll get there.
Would recommend.
There. We have Lou Wasserman's Ghost. How you doing, dear?
I just flew in on a Star Tour, and boy, are my arms tired.
Oh man, I was about to say, because you're a ghost, you always got the
yes, well, your
famous ghost host, right?
color displays an aura of foreboding.
Yes.
Can this haunted chat actually get better? Yes, always.
Very nice.
My favorite is the cast member who says, "Please move into the dead center of the room."
I like that.
I have a 6 degrees of separation from that whole thing because my mother, who was a radio actress, actually worked with Paul Frees quite a bit. So, and he is your ghost host, or was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
There's no turning back now.
They did a regular commercial for some, in its day, variation on V8 called Ever Ready Vegetable Juice Cocktail. And he'd come on and say, "I'm Mr. Tomato," and she'd say, "I'm Miss Celery," and he'd say, "I'm Mr. Carrot," and she'd say, "I'm Miss Grape," and we get together with 11 other vegetables to make Ever Ready Vegetable Juice Cocktail. Go figure. Those were the days.
That's fun.
Ew.
Exactly.
Well, we are definitely glad to have back with us Views with Hughes. How are you doing, my dear? Good.
You all right?
I was waiting for the audience to finish, but
I see.
Yeah, never interrupt the applause. Absolutely.
I am fine. Thank you all.
Good.
Very cool.
Good. Glad to hear it. And of course, glad you guys are there in the chat hanging out with us. Let's run through here, see who we got. We've got Alan, who I guess that's in response to our rhetorical question. In my opinion, my home opinion, no. Well, we're going to talk about that with respect to Deadpool. I'm very interested in what my panel has to say, and I may shock you guys a little bit with what my opinion is. We got Keely Chow says, "Hey everybody." Well, hey, and hello. We have got Glenn Leo. I hope I said that right in the chat. Says, "Hi everyone. Hello and welcome." Views with Hughes in the chat. Views with Hughes, agenda-free news. Says, "Hail all." Well, hail. Oh, I remember that commercial.
Ah.
DL
Those were
Fendel
the
says, "Now that's
days.
spicy."
I was gonna. He must be eating those beignets that they're trying at the park.
Mm.
Oh, you
That
mean
aren't
those little
beignets.
rocks?
Yeah, those Pepperidge Farm crescent rolls disguised as I don't know. Beignet they ain't.
No, I do not get Cafe Du Monde or Port Orleans Resort when I see those beignets. No.
Mm.
Those beignets probably rank up there with the infamous potato salad. Y'all have heard me talk about that.
Oh,
Nice
man.
Just, ugh,
Yeah.
nah.
I had those beignets at Tiana's Palace at Disneyland. Yeah, I mean, they simply don't hold a candle to the Jazz Kitchen that's in downtown Disney, Rob Brennan's Jazz Kitchen.
But we both remember the good old fritters from the good old days in New Orleans Square. Those were amazing.
Yeah, much better snack options. I'll put it that way.
Y'all gonna make me hungry. I haven't had dinner yet, and I still got to go to the gym.
Uh-oh.
Hey, D-Nice Gamer, so good seeing you guys. See you, HC. Mark Daly says the joint photo of Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney at the premiere is a must-see. The movie, not so much. Yeah, I 100% agree with you.
Oh, Dakota Johnson.
100% agree with you.
I think it might be the only person on the panel that's not going to see the movie.
Oh no, I'm avoiding it too, out of self-preservation, based on what I've seen so far.
I'm gonna go see it because I like to give you all a pass for me, so you can say I know a woman who saw it and she said that it was, floating garbage fire. So I'm gonna fall on that grenade.
Oh, I was watching Shad, and the Knights guys, and they just ripped it so beautifully in a way that only they can when in full dudgeon. That was enough for me.
We will be talking about it.
Yeah, it's so bad. Yeah, I'm actually gonna sit because in order to activate the spice, I have to go through the pain of watching something like that. So then I get extra salty with the reviews, which people seem to like. Hey Gary. Hey, OG says Madam Web looks god awful. Yes, it is. It's awful. Yeah. I don't know who this character is. I don't care about who this character is, and I'm really getting sick and tired of these Spider-Verse characters I've never heard of. Outside of Venom, I don't care.
To be fair, anybody who watched the 90s animated series of Spider-Man, like on I think the last season, she does make an appearance and stuff with for Peter Parker and everything, but as an older woman with some goggles on.
Right.
But my thing is, we don't like if we want to see her in the like the latest Spider-Man movie as an older woman, or at least I do. I don't like you just share briefly like the origin stories of her, just briefly. But then bring it back to when she's an older woman, about to go ahead and mentor Peter Parker a little more.
See, I could jive with that, but this just looks like a Galentine's, not Valentine's, Galentine's Day type of story, and I am not interested. But dang it, I like to be informed so I can rip it appropriately. And yeah, I did love Jessica Alba with the blonde hair. I did. That's the only version of the Fantastic Four I will actually watch. After that, just
Chris Evans, right? As what's his name? The other character in there. Sorry, Luke. Go ahead.
Johnny Blaze.
I was going to say the only actor I've seen in any of the Fantastic Four things who was right was Michael Chiklis as Ben, as the Thing.
Yes.
He was great.
Right.
He was great, but otherwise,
He was awesome. And speaking of awesome, guess who just joined us? Ooh. I love it when more friends come in. Michelle from Force of Light Entertainment. How are you?
I'm good. Good to be here. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Yeah. Hi, Michelle. We have to stop meeting like this.
I know.
Hello, Michelle.
There we go.
Hey.
There we go. Let's see. I think we got everyone. Oh yeah, Super Princess Peach. I'm telling you, I've had that pre-order for 3 months. Telling you, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for it. Yeah, they don't like video game characters being cute and pretty. They don't like them being hot with nice rack. No, they don't.
If they interpret her as a southern white poor girl, will it be Peach Melba for a cracker? Anyway.
It is
Never
strange
mind.
that you look at video game characters, and this is why, when the whole Indiana Jones is coming to Bethesda game, it's like, yeah, but have you seen Bethesda games lately? Not so good. Very varying qualities for sure. It's weird. You have modders who go back and transform these games and actually put in some decent looking human characters, not just female, but also male characters. And it just seems like game developers right now are just, they are just going on the complete opposite side of that, which is weird because it's not necessarily what they're doing in the East.
Well, if they went to the cons to get inspiration, they'd have better looking characters than some of the ones they come up with themselves.
That's true.
The cosplay people, know how to sell it.
Yeah, I mean, I will play. I don't have time these days to play games as much as I used to. But man, when I play Genshin Impact, those chicks look a lot different than say from the likes of Bethesda games and some of the other AAA agencies, and I absolutely love it. Michelle, have you heard the official casting news about Fantastic Four?
I have. I can't say I'm that excited about it, but I'm not that upset about it either. I think it's fine. It's it's okay.
I do like the fact that they got the guy from the last season of Stranger Things up there playing Johnny Blaze, though. I mean,
I
think
think
he does.
Something Twin.
Yeah.
Who is he in Stranger Things?
Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie. The guy with long hair and stuff that got killed.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Eddie. Man,
I'm
pull one out for Eddie.
I'm still upset that they killed him off like that.
R.I.P. Eddie.
Period.
There's few characters that I'm upset when when they bought it. One is Eddie and the other is Rengoku from Demon Slayer. I'm still recovering from that. I'm still recovering. Oh gosh, it was so bad. Well, this is live. Thank you so much for being a YouTube member. I appreciate that, folks. Members, you guys get so many additional perks, watch parties, extra videos. Speaking of watch parties, we're actually going to be watching the new Shogun on FX. So if you're a member, you're going to get to watch that along with me. And also, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'd like to make an apology. I got my characters mixed up. It is Johnny Storm. I don't know why I said Johnny Blaze, so I do apologize for that, chat.
Yeah. The Human Torch. Okay. Flame on.
There you go. These things happen. Ain't no issues. I forgot completely. So you can take it out on me. I do apologize, chat.
No worries. Best Fallout was New Vegas. I'm playing Fallout 3 on my PC, Fallout 4 on my PS4. Maybe one day I'll get to New Vegas, but I got those two games that I have to play because
you're
Fallout.
Three on your 4 and 4 on your 3. You could make movie titles for Marvel. All you do is put a number at the end of something, and you've got a Marvel movie these days.
There you go, right?
It's amazing when you license out these properties to other game developers, like Obsidian, for example. A lot of people feel that New Vegas is the best Fallout of the franchise, and I still haven't played it. I want to so bad. Hopefully I can get a modded playthrough of that soon.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I'm just like, I never thought I would be in a position where I don't have time to play video games like I would like to, but
no time.
Yeah.
None. I just get in there and kind of do the games when I get Method Man as Johnny Blaze. You are so right about that, Captain John D. I see what 100%. You did there.
I do
see what you did there.
I do like the casting of Vanessa Kirby, though. I thought that was pretty decent right there. I did like her performances in the Mission Impossible franchise and some of her other works. So I think, and it kind of feels like Marvel's gonna make Vanessa Kirby's character a big prominent part of the film, probably, just knowing their track record. So important to get that right, and I think I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do like, but sorry, good.
Oh,
Go ahead,
no,
Michelle.
I was just going to say, yeah, I really liked her. She just had a lot of charisma in those first 2 seasons of The Crown. I thought she did an excellent job.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed. Yeah, she's I don't mind Vanessa Kirby at all. I love her. I love her acting, but it's
Pedro
like we
Pascal,
gotta
right?
wait. Yeah, it's like we just have to wait and see what that story that comes out for the film. Pedro Pascal, I think he's overexposed, but hey, dude, get your money.
I think
Let's-
that I don't trust the creators of it, as well as Kevin Feige, about what they intended to do with the whole story of the movie and everything.
Has anyone heard? I was just listening to a few minutes of Film Threat. He said that this movie's supposed to be set in the 60s. Is
Yeah,
what he's
apparently
heard.
there's a
Yes,
cover.
Yeah, I heard
about that a
magazine with
long
LBJ
time
on
ago.
it or something like that.
Yeah, I guess the Marvel artwork that was released today
Yeah,
kind of
show you again.
exhibits the fact that it is supposed to be representative of that time period. So
Yeah, that is
They're
that.
going James Gunn on this right now.
Yeah, there it is. I don't know if you can zoom that in, but Ben is reading I think it's Life magazine with LBJ on the cover or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then what is it? The Herbie robot is featured, which is really cool. I know a lot of people were really reacting to
Yeah.
that. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with this 1960s aesthetic to bring a character like that to life. That'll be kind of cool. But to kind of go this retro direction for it, I think is a clever move.
I do too. I like period pieces, so that actually interests me for this movie.
Right.
Just
Well,
the
they had all
60s
the New York in the '60s stuff left over from Indy that they could plug into this, right? Just take
Yeah.
out the parade and put in more muggers, and they're all set.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Reuse the assets.
I agree with Michelle. It's an interesting twist having them put it in the aesthetic of say 1963. However, if they're going to set it in the 60s, it needs to also be culturally framed in the 60s. So
Maybe
we'll
they're gonna
see.
make maybe they're gonna make Pedro Pascal as a white man.
He is though.
Just saying.
He already is. Just to reiterate, folks, Hispanic and Latino are not races. They are ethnicities.
There you
And according to the Spanish census, my 5th great grandfather was listed as Blanco. Do we know what that word means?
White.
Exactly.
White. Make sure you
Yes,
put
you
in
have
your,
to. You have
white
to
cards there.
emphasize.
Not the blue cards. We don't want those pesky blue cards from that Pelps guy. No. Let's go
No,
with
not the
white
blue cards, not the green cards. What did someone say? Not the. I think green was Gamora. Blue
Yes.
was I forget who blue was. Nebula, right?
Yeah, Nebula.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect.
Well,
There we go.
Can someone tell me, like, my only issue with Pedro necessarily is, like, in the comics, how old is his character? Because Pedro isn't exactly. I mean, he's not. I'm not saying he's old. I'm just saying, he's
Well,
older than.
He looks
most
older than
comic
me.
characters.
Reed is definitely older than anybody else.
Yes, he is.
And he's
Okay.
got that. Hasn't he got that silver?
He's got the
streak
gray.
In his hair?
Yes,
yeah.
he's got the gray.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's supposed
That
to be
could
kind of
just
an
be
allegory for like a
stress.
family, right? So he's like the dad figure. It
Yeah.
makes sense that character might be a little bit older. I think that's okay.
40s.
We'll just have to see, though,
40
really.
in the comics.
Would it
Well,
be
that's-
terrible to
that's
say they're
fine.
stretching a point when it comes to casting him?
I'd say so, but yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what they do with it, because right now Marvel needs a win and they have not been
Desperately.
getting wins. So hopefully, I say hopefully, knock wood, we'll see what happens, that they take this seriously, and they actually subvert our expectations in a good way. But we shall see.
What do you guys have on the over under, since this is set in the 60s, that we're going to get Peggy Carter?
Oh shoot, I hadn't thought about that. Wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me.
Because how old would that make her in the 60s? How old would Peggy be?
Peggy would be, let's see,
Like
if
her
it was
40s?
World War II, right? Yes. So she'd be like 40, probably early 40s.
So it would fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
And
well.
isn't Ant-Man is around this time period too, right? The original.
Oh,
yeah.
oh God.
The original
Yeah.
Pym.
Yeah, the original Pym. Okay. Hank, yes. Because remember Hank Pym, Howard Stark, all those
Gotcha.
dudes. Yeah.
Okay.
We might see Howard Stark too. Now that I think about it. Okay. Well, speaking of things that subverted expectations, let's talk about this Deadpool 3 trailer. I love Ryan Reynolds, I'll put it that way. I pretty much love anything he's in because I'm just kind of blind to that. I just love Ryan Reynolds.
Sure.
But I did not expect to laugh as hard as I did when I saw the Deadpool 3 trailer. Have you all seen it?
Yeah,
I have.
Absolutely.
And my reaction was entirely the opposite. I said there isn't enough funny in this for me.
I was the
anyway.
same as him. I was maybe my expectations were like so high. My expectations were high because Ryan Reynolds is funny to me. But regardless, I already said I'm already sold. I'm already gonna go see it. Like, it is what it is. It was still fun. I think my expectations were just so high because I find Deadpool so humorous.
I have too in the past, and in this thing, it didn't seem. I mean, he's a wise ass, but he wasn't as witty a wise ass in this trailer for me. That's just my impression.
Yeah, they might be keeping some stuff close to the vest there. So I think that's a decent criticism there, Lou. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was representative of the character that we knew from when Fox owned these rights. Interestingly enough, and a lot of people.
That was the other big thing. If you go
Sure.
to the very, very last frame of the damn trailer and look down at the fine print, it says copyright Fox Studios and Marvel.
Right.
There's two
Really?
copyright listings, and I don't remember. Look, that little thing.
Yes, there is. Right there, 2024.
I saw that. I had to go
20th
back and
Century
freeze it
Fox
twice.
Studios / 2024 Marvel.
And it's like I don't remember ever seeing that before, anywhere. Two distinct copyright messages. So that's an interesting little piece of legal.
That is interesting.
Ledger domain, isn't it?
Very much so.
And of course,
It
Fox
seems-
got top billing too. So
It seems, since you put it like that way, Lou, it seems to me that it was going to be kind of like a similar situation with Sony and Marvel, where maybe, just maybe, this movie may actually be good because all the Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland and everything done with Sony and everything, they had a hand in it. Shows that they still had the rights to it and they still want it done correctly. Maybe, and we have heard that Ryan Reynolds actually spoke out against that he didn't want it to be all Disney-fied. So,
yeah. Of course,
I think
with the Spider-Man thing, there was much more complex contract stuff going on. With the use in the parks and all the rest of that stuff. But this was strictly an acquisition, so
Sure.
Who's to say that this wouldn't be the same situation?
could be.
I think Ryan Reynolds is the corrective force here, right? I think this is why it gives me such optimism to see this film, because it doesn't necessarily suffer from the risk of the same meddling that has been applied to other various Marvel productions. With Ryan Reynolds being there and kind of, pushing back against some of this stuff, we can, probably expect a maintaining of his character. And a lot of people had questions about that going into this, right? And Bob Iger kind of gave this answer saying, well, maybe there is a way we can incorporate this in the MCU. Maybe we can make it work, but a lot of people still have reservations about what Disney might do with this character. And they make it very clear right at the outset, this is new for Disney. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting too. This is a character that's entirely masked when he's the character. Therefore, in theory, if you look at Mandalorian and they talk about, well, maybe he'll just do the voice and somebody else will do the rest of the series when they were talking about that with Pedro. Or it used to be that if you were a masked thing, it didn't matter who was behind the mask because they could get somebody else. But these people have so impressed their personality into these characters that doesn't fly anymore.
You're 100% correct.
You know, they used to say that the reason why baseball players got bigger contracts and more cereal boxes is that football guys had that helmet on. And people didn't identify them as well. So, anyway, it's just times have changed.
Yeah, but because Lou, you bring up a very, very good point. Ryan Reynolds is actually able to act through the masks, so to speak. So even when he's masked as Deadpool, you still know that it's him with like the mannerisms and all of that. And very few people can do that. And that's the thing about this character. I mean, if you go with the first Deadpool, because I didn't like the second one because the rating got dropped, and Deadpool should be a straight hard R type of film. And
I thought it was still rated R, but they also released like a PG-13 version of it.
The second one, yeah.
Deadpool 2. It was in theaters first as a rated R, and then they also had a special release of it being PG-13.
The Christmas PG-13 one.
Yeah.
Well, and there's been a lot of talk that they were going to do that with this, but so far we haven't heard.
Because I saw the R-rated version and stuff.
Yeah, the R version did have a theatrical run.
Yeah, I saw both versions. I was gonna say.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say on what you guys were saying. I think that's so true because, like, say with the Mandalorian, he's so stoic and under so much armor, it doesn't really matter as much. But Deadpool, half the humor is his body language.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that is a way of comedy, and Ryan Reynolds really nails the humor through his physicality. His body.
Classic slapstick, right? I mean, you know, I do this thing called the Genre Guys, and we did Mad World, and I mean, it's all physical, you know, silent movie or a comedy by and large, and that's almost what he does, but with a modern day wise ass attitude, and that's what makes it work so specially. Now, I'm probably the only person on the planet who really liked Green Lantern, and I think if he'd been given his lead to do a little more of that in that might have been where we were at.
Well, apparently in this timeline it didn't happen. So Lou, we're gonna have to forget that because
I understand, but
the actor was killed in the last one. I don't know if you saw the end there.
Yes, I did.
Peter, actually, I saw Deadpool 2 on streaming because I didn't trust what the second one was going to be after I saw the first one. So I think I wound up watching now I know why I was watching the PG-13 because my niece was with me. So that's why I was watching the PG-13 version. I knew there was a reason, but yeah.
The way you would know is the PG-13 version had Fred Savage in it. He's like reading to him like from Princess Bride, and then they do Deadpool.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who thinks that like the way that Ryan Reynolds played Deadpool reminds me of when he did Van Wilder and everything with all the mannerisms and all of that? It's like, look, guy to feel like Deadpool is in the 7th year in college and his dad is upset with having paid tuition again.
I didn't see Van Wilder. People keep telling me to say it, but I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen it. Oh, okay.
Have not.
Yeah. Hey, there's only so much time in the day.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever seen Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds in it?
Yes. Now I like Just Friends. It's funny.
Okay.
No, I haven't seen that.
That's the only rom-com that I like, and that's it.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Okay. I'll check it out. But first of all, let me get to these two. Keely Chow has been a member for 14 months. Thank you so much, my dear. Says Deadpool won't save the MCU, but I will watch it. Interesting. And Charles Ratliff, thank you so much for that $2 super chat. Marvel Jesus took a shot at Kenobi Jesus. That line really didn't surprise me when he said that. Marvel Jesus. It's like you knew he was going to say something
Sure.
akin to like I Am Iron Man, something kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
off. Kiss My Grit says as long as Disney gave Ryan creative freedom and didn't interfere beyond reason, the movie will be a success. I think that quip about Disney
Yep.
and a certain visual that looks like Disney,
Yeah.
I am inclined to agree with you on that. Although I am really hoping that they will not explain this away with the TVA. Now, I will tell you, I don't like seeing the TVA. First of all, when they open the movie, all right, Vanessa's alive. I'm
Yes.
like, okay, already. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I like this. And then you see the TVA show up. So again, that's something else that you have to go to Disney Plus to watch before you see the movie, and that I don't like. Yeah, Hughes.
Didn't like at the end of Deadpool 2 what's
Yes,
up
Vanessa's
Teenage
brought
Mutant
back.
yeah they made a time machine and he went back in the past and basically
If I could turn back
dang it.
time. You know, that whole song.
Did they play that? I can't remember.
Yeah, they did.
And he was running back and changing stuff,
And it
he
was hilarious.
writing the Green Lantern script.
Yes.
And he
Right.
Tapped him in the head. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Wow. For some reason, my brain blanked that out. I don't know why. Anyway, either way, see, this is why I have everybody on the panel, like correcting my brain
Oh,
fart.
wait, don't even worry about it.
Well, I'm just
And,
happy they didn't feel like they had to do a 25-minute recap at the beginning, apparently, because I hate those. I hate those in theme park attractions where if you can't tell the story enough to get into it in the first 5 seconds, don't give me a speech. The worst,
Right.
of course, was Black Adam, which was like a 15, 20-minute, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth, and let me tell you the entire history of the universe.
Lord.
Oh, was that
I
tedious
knew
and
what was
endless.
going to happen. They gave away the darn ending in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lord, that
Very
was
bad.
that was nuts. Well, let me ask the panel, what do you guys think about the TVA being so prominent in this film? At least from what we can see by the trailer. Let's put it that way.
First and foremost, they didn't do the TVA correctly in anything from Loki and stuff because of the fact that, for one, I mean, I guarantee they did this based on the ending of Deadpool 2, where they decided to go ahead and have him included, go ahead and trying to bring in all the multiverse and stuff, trying to make the correction and stuff. But as far as the TVA is concerned, I don't know much about them, but I'm pretty sure I got a feeling that they didn't do them correctly as they did in the comics and stuff because, well, it's no surprise. They didn't read the comics. So
apparently they're encouraging actors not to, because we're going to take it in a completely different direction, like Echo and so many of these others. I actually didn't see Loki, so the Time Variance Authority I have a very little familiar with. So I'll familiarity with. So I'll take your comments under advisement.
I didn't watch Loki. I can't watch it. I dropped out after the first.
I'm the same. And have any of us here watched Loki?
Not me.
Okay, so just one
only
of us
season
here.
one. Only season one I've watched it.
And see, I actually brought this point up because of a comment on our trailer reaction for this on X yesterday, Twitter. I kind of feel like that's a problem. Now, obviously, we're going to be able to watch this movie and enjoy it without having seen Loki. But like having the TVA involved heavily, we know because we're aware that it's in Loki. But that's kind of a problem with Marvel. Like the average person probably didn't watch Loki and has no clue what the TVA is.
And they put it in hoping you'll ask your friends who will then say, oh, you got to watch.
Yeah.
And get somehow anybody, please, God, somebody sign up for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I was thinking that same thing too, Lou.
Yeah.
If you're going to have these big players in this world, you can't introduce them necessarily in a television show that maybe not, or a streaming series maybe not everybody saw. You really had to give them their own time in these
and
cinematic
that you
avenues.
have to pay extra to go see, as opposed to,
Right.
let's say, a television series on the network where the money's in the advertising and you can check it out.
That's a very
I
good
mean,
point.
if somebody at this point, for example, look at all these people that are watching these old shows that are becoming hits and streaming, like NCIS and, at least they can go back and watch the old ones and catch up if they need to know who the characters are.
Like
But-
Friends, also.
Yeah, well, sure. Suits is the big example, of course.
Yeah,
The
it's
thing is, the only good thing that the TV would be good for is by bringing back Tony Stark. But we haven't heard anything from Robert Downey Jr. lately, so
I really hope that does not
Yeah, he
not happen
He
because
doesn't need this.
he doesn't need this, and not that I put it past Marvel to try this, but with what happened in Endgame. So you're going to tell me that Tony Stark, hey, Culture, how you doing?
Culture
Speaking of Iron Men,
Here you go.
Yeah, right? What is up?
well, we can't
You're
hear
muted,
you.
my dear.
I'm terribly abused right now. I went and saw Madam Web.
Oh, you
Oh.
did.
Oh.
You're post web.
I'm just saying, if you want to have the worst Valentines of your life, go see this movie.
That's rough.
See it with someone you don't love is the slogan.
Yeah,
Is that it?
yeah. If you have enemies, buy them tickets. Oh my
If you're in a
goodness.
relationship you would like to end.
Yeah, it's bad. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to distract. Thanks for.
Oh,
for
no
bringing me.
no worries. You just reminded
Oh,
me
I
I'm
feel
only
bad.
going
I
to
wanna
see
cheer you
Madam
up.
Web for the loyalty points and the free popcorn and soda credits that I have. That's it. You know, at least I get something out of the deal. Two things, because with Tony Stark's death in Endgame, that hit me. I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't happy about it, but there was a reason for it. So for them to possibly bring Tony Stark back is basically saying, no, it didn't really matter. It didn't matter. I hate
but think about
that.
this though. But think about this, and I've said this on the Pro Show in case y'all forgot. What if that kind of Tony was a scroll and everything, and they still messed that up, but they try to use that story to try to bring back Tony Stark and say that Tony Stark was really in space and stuff on the station.
They did that with War Machine, right? Where apparently
Yes,
he
they
was
did,
yeah.
and it was ridiculous. And now you can tell why these people who write these are not reading the comics for whatever reason. And sorry, just to kind of back up a little bit with respect to Disney, Disney Plus, that annoys me that they put out these films and you can't understand it really unless you go back and watch Disney Plus. Now, I did not watch Age of Ultron, so when I saw Infinity War, I couldn't figure out Hughes. It's okay. Don't pull my nerd pass so quickly. When I went to see Infinity War, I'm like, why is everybody all happy that Cap picked up Thor's hammer? I'm like, I missed that geek memo, and somebody said you got to go watch Age of Ultron. I'm like, okay. So I went and watched Age of Ultron, but it wasn't that I didn't know what was going on, but I got enough of a hint from the audience to know that it was something big.
Hey,
and all I had to do was go back, watch the movie. 2 hours, I'm caught up.
There is a simple solution, and
What's
it
that?
even cuts the budget. They
What's
do
that?
the Bobby Ewing shower scene from Dallas, and they shoot it in Big Bob's shower.
Oh no! No! It was all a dream. Oh,
It's all a
Wait, I'll tell you this
dream.
though.
parents still talk about that.
Two things. When Captain America actually lifted that Mjolnir, yo, I was in the theater screaming. I was in the screen. Yeah.
That's what everybody else was doing.
But when Tony Stark died, I'm not gonna lie, I actually cried.
Yeah.
Saw the movie 4 times and stuff. I even cried in front of my wife when I watched it the 4th time with her for the first time. And it's like, yo, that still brings tears to my eyes and stuff, and I'm trying to hold it back, breathing hard. But I can't help it. It just came out.
Sure.
I literally started screaming when Tony got shivved the first time in Endgame. I mean, in Infinity War. I did not expect that. I did not expect that at all. Age of Ultron, Keely. There's no way I'm freaking watching the Justice League ever again. Get to the point.
I'd like to say a few words about your arrest record. What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Yeah, so let's wrap up this topic. Culture, what did you think about the Deadpool 3 trailer?
You know, I thought that it gave some of the things that I wanted to see to me. It gave me some things I didn't want to see, like the TVA. And you know, I really the dwindling hope that I had for this film has been accelerated downward, like an avalanche now. So my expectations are lower because of the trailer than they were before, which is sad. Gratuitous violence I love, gratuitous humor that he has with swearing and all that I don't mind at all. But this is not a way to try to preserve, save, or revive the MCU at this point, and we'll just have to see. Much like Madam Web, I think this will be a film that I see so other people don't have to, and I didn't want to have that impression.
Well, that brings me to the question of the hour. Can Deadpool 3 save the MCU?
No. It can
Absolutely not.
It can make Disney money, and it could even make Disney a decent amount of money, but it's not going to save the MCU because it's just one movie and then they move on to the next.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you said your expectations were lowered, I don't know that that's what they're going for, which is a shame. I think they're going for, will you go see it to see if you were right or not? And I mean, you have a professional reason to. But a lot of people may feel your way and say, well, it can't be that bad. I better go see it and find out. They're about selling tickets. And will this save the MCU? Lazarus had a better revival chance.
Oh man, that's rough.
I mean, he's not lying. He's not lying.
There was an article in Variety written January 30th, actually, this year, suggesting from director Matthew Vaughn, I guess X-Men First Class fame, says that it could save the whole Marvel universe, giving the jolt it needs to come back to life here. I think
and then
it could.
His movie tanked. So
He's smoking.
It could kickstart something where enthusiasm is refreshed, albeit briefly, but you really have to connect to another great film and kind of be part of a line of great films to come. That really people they I don't know.
I just thought of a better analogy than the one I used.
Sure.
What's that?
For somebody who rises from the dead every night. And that is, Dracula has to be invited in. You see what I mean? People have to be in the mood to say, oh, gee, we hope, we want. And I think we've burned a lot of those bridges to the point where these films, as you just said, we don't see a cavalcade of here they come.
Yeah.
Everyone is going to be taken as an individual blip, and even if you like it, say, well, I like that one, but I don't know about the next one. They better prove it to me.
You would have to have a rapid succession of great films to really kind of get people to reanalyze their expectations.
Soon,
yeah, exactly.
Keely Chow in the chat just broke my heart. Keely Chow just said there's a better chance of the Cowboys winning another Super Bowl than the MCU.
Oh man, you Cowboys fans!
The truth hurts.
Hey, look.
I
think you will absolutely. You can see those Super Bowls views. You just got to put them in your VHS player. That's where.
Oh yeah, I have to agree. But I mean, I'm a Colts fan, so yeah. But like the only thing that can save the MCU is if Ike Perlmutter's back, as well as Bob Iger is gone. But I don't even think that's going to be happening. So that shows you exactly the chances of the MCU actually being saved.
Yeah, will the MCU be saved by Deadpool 3? Absolutely not. That's like, the MCU is already in the 7th level of hell. What's one more level up or down? I think people who like the Deadpool character for the most part will be curious enough to go and see this. Remember, the trailer's job is to put butts in seats, not to tell you if the movie is going to be, is going to be good or not. I was kind of pissed with the Barbie movie, but I could not knock the marketing or the trailer that got me to put my butt in the seats. I think what this is going to be is just like a bubble type of film, kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's like it's a fun time. I get to laugh and joke about with Disney, about with Deadpool. I get to see Ryan Reynolds. I get to see Hugh Jackman in the 97 Wolverine outfit. I get to see their banter. I get to have fun looking at that. But after the credits roll, we're still stuck with the same crappy MCU that Disney's been doing. And if it wasn't Ryan Reynolds producing this film, we wouldn't have it in the first place. So
and isn't it a shame to put that kind of burden on these two guys? Oh, well, you made a great movie and it sold a lot of tickets, but you didn't save the Marvel Universe. And they would look at you and say, yeah, well, go fish,
and it's not their job to save it.
Exactly.
It really is not their job.
Fish. Blackmail me with saving the Marvel Universe with one movie? Go fund yourself, Bob. Are you listening?
They put these impossible tasks on these directors and producers and writers. Like, for example, Moana 2. It's like, okay, you're going to turn this thing around from a Disney Plus series to a sequel to one of your biggest franchises of the last 10 years. And with the storyboard artist, the head of story from Strange World, first time director, by the way, in 9 months without even a voice cast, solidified. I mean, why are you doing this? Stop.
I keep saying this on every one of these damn videos. It's not 9 months because August 1st, the IA says, go fish.
Yeah. They're putting all the responsibilities on the directors because of the fact that there's no management in Disney.
Yeah. There is, but it is extremely mediocre because they're not making these movies for fans of the comics. They're not even making them for normies who have a passing interest in the comics, because even your borderline normie knows there's stuff that's not happening that should be happening, which is why a lot of them are just like, what do you mean I got to go see some Disney Plus show to see what's going on? No, I'm just done. Battle Hymn 63 for $5 says, I've never considered the Deadpool movies as being connected to MCU. MCU died after Infinity War. Hashtag Thanos tried to save us. I think Deadpool is like the step kid when it comes to Disney. That's kind of how I see it. Thank you, Battle Hymn.
Well,
for
that's
that
like that clip
$5
of Driver saying, I didn't kill, Lucas. Lucas killed Lucas, so.
Dang, Dylan. Rainer, there's a better chance of PennDOT actually fixing the potholes and construction on the turnpike than Deadpool 3 saving the MCU. There, I said it. Yeah, I don't think PennDOT has really fixed anything.
It's rough.
Pennsylvania. Oh, well, folks, first of all, over 32 of you guys watching here on the Spice Lounge. Thank you so very, very, very much for hanging out with us. We're going to move on to our next topic, which, of course, is Disney related. But before we do, I have to show y'all something. This put such a smile on my face. I'm mad I wasn't the person who programmed this particular mod. So what you see in the background is actually from Disney Dreamlight Valley, which is what I play regularly. If I could have this kind of action in that game, I most certainly would.
Is this an actual game?
No, it's a mod. It's a
mod for an existing one.
Someone did a mod of Disney Dreamlight Valley, because you can see from the scenery in the back. That's from Dreamlight Valley. There's Scrooge's store right there. There's the wishing well that's over to the left. if I had this mod, I would freaking play it. You've got Maleficent, who I love. You got Jasmine, who's my favorite princess. I don't care if this was like a princess, just Mortal Kombat type of game. I would play that. I'm just upset
Me
that,
too.
like I said,
Me
I'm
too.
mad I didn't do this mod. This
And
is
they'll
like
say,
the game.
magical
I needed-
victory.
Yes, yes.
Snow White getting steamrolled right now.
Oh man.
Ooh,
Goodness.
she
Snow
sure as
White
heck
couldn't.
did.
Here comes
Oh,
the fatal blow. Charged it up.
yep. I love this. I
Brutal,
absolutely
violent
love
Disney
that.
fighting game. This is amazing.
Yes, I would do it.
Well,
Got
Oh,
the pixie
man.
dust knocked out of her.
Whew. Have Cinderella, break her glass slipper on a rock, and she's about to cut some. Okay, I know that got really dark, but that's how your girl thinks.
I love it.
But seeing that,
Oh, yeah.
Mark Kelly said, "I need this game in my life, dude." Yeah, I do. I'm just like,
I
dang it!
know.
I wish I could have programmed it. Get over here.
Yeah, get over here. Yeah.
That would be the fairy godmother with her wand, Anyway,
Right.
but
Yeah.
what I thought about, that just really made it come alive. Thank you.
Sorry.
Y'all don't want me programming video games. But what came to mind when I saw that, I went back to the Dreamlight Valley content roadmap, and something that's been hidden in plain sight that I didn't even realize. In summer of 2024, they are bringing Tiana into the Dreamlight Valley game. Now, something that I've noticed with Dreamlight Valley is that their character drops are not coincidental.
Yeah.
You had Elemental. They had a whole thing for Elemental going on. So it's not a surprise that it's going to be in the summer. And the video, usually the drop for that in the summer is going to be in May. And what's rumored from what I've heard to actually drop in May? What attraction is coming?
I'm hearing August,
Summer?
but I believe you're talking about Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
That is correct. And Vash, I know you've got quite a bit of information, but let me see. Let me share your screen. So you
Please.
can show us this animatronic here.
Yes, as part of some very significant holidays for New Orleans, the New Orleans area, or New Orleans culture, we now get some of our first looks at some more details surrounding this attraction, and as well as some leaks that were published about the same time, which is really, really interesting before they were taken down. But your boy Dre here, he's got your back there. We were able to archive them, and credit to Captain John D, by the way, for doing that, because I was like, oh, somebody grab this quick. And we came in clutch there, so that is really, really cool. Anyway, you can see the animatronic here. I guess it's an A1000 figure, brand new, state-of-the-art, no longer hydraulic spaced. This is electronic actuation, which is good, but it's just unfortunate that we're going to get so few of them as compared to the 70 or so audio animatronics in the Walt Disney World version, or over 100 that were found in the Disneyland version. Some of those going back to America Sings, obviously. So it's tough. I think look, the range of motion is impressive. Yes, her programming still needs a little work, I would think, because she does make these motions that you can really only make if your feet are like planted on the floor. So I would address that a little bit there. In culture, I'm sure you can speak to a lot of this as well too, I'm sure. But I think a lot of people are kind of remarking on the look of Tiana and how it's not necessarily on model, I guess. Doesn't
I got
necessarily...
4 words for you.
Well, go ahead.
I got 4 words for you. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh no!
Good point, and I'm glad Hughes chimed in, because actually he has to go. So I would
Please.
really, please do let us know your impressions when you see this animatronic?
Man, I'm telling you. Let's see. A Disney character based on a black woman becoming an animatronic in a theme park. What could go wrong?
Yes,
And
that's
she's got Dreamfinder's boots on, by the way, from that last scene where he's on the movie crane.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
now
why
I-
did she look like she's going on a safari?
yeah. So that's the other part of this that's really kind of disappointing.
Actually, to be fair, Louisiana can have its give you its own safari, if you will.
Well, yes. However, this is 1920, and if I go back to my great aunt, my great Creole aunt, who was alive around in the 1920s before she passed away, no self-respecting woman of good breeding, especially Black women in the South, would be wearing pants.
I knew you
Yeah.
would
At
say that.
all.
Look,
You would not
say
be
that.
wearing pants.
Figuratively, they wore the pants in the family, but in fact, they did not wear pants.
Absolutely.
there are very few instances that I could even find, and I asked people, "Hey, look, show me a 1920s female with this outfit on." None of them black, by the way, but there were some of them, but they were very in exotic locations and of luxury and wealth and so forth.
It looks like Amelia Earhart or something, you know?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's very progressive.
Oh yes.
Type of garb. You were not looked upon favorably to even wear pants. It was such a social thing. My grandmother, she was like, she didn't get to wear pants until she was like in her 50s, because her mother was just like, you're not allowed to. It's not culturally seen as something that you should do. And even in Louisiana itself, that outfit is way too heavy to be wearing in 100-degree Louisiana swamp weather with 110, 120 heat index.
Yep.
Yes, I would totally agree with you. I could not find any. I mean, a black woman in the South wearing this particular outfit, it's just non-existent. And it's interesting because I just got permission to say this. So I have a source who's just sat down with Tony Baxter, interestingly enough, and asked him about his involvement with this attraction. And he was quick to say, "Oh, you can tell everybody that I'm not involved with this attraction at all." Apparently he was on the project initially before leaving. And one of the things that he was saying was like, hey, nobody wants to see Indiana Jones Tiana. I think that's a pretty good, accurate statement, because that's the other thing about this. She's not in her iconic gown. She's not in her iconic outfit. That really. Oh, go ahead, Michelle.
That's what I was going to say. I wouldn't know that was Tiana.
Right. And a lot of people don't. Well, they have her as a walk-around character at Disneyland currently right now in this outfit. And so many people pass her by and don't give her the attention that the same character wearing a gown would, and that I've seen personally with my own eyes. It's startling because they're really trying to push for this, and it just is not in demand. Sorry to say.
Well, look, let me speak up. The character references that have been used forever have included her in a dress, or or in a skirt, or in something. It is never had her looking like this. The stuff that you can buy online currently, if you go to Amazon or anywhere else, is Tiana in a dress. The Halloween costume is Tiana in a dress. She doesn't look like she's about to go horseback riding, or practice dressage, horse jumping or anything else. I mean, that's, it's like this, she's not going on a safari, and this is very strange. And
as a princess in the cartoon, she wears a tiara. On the attraction, she doesn't, and the water tower does.
Makes 0 sense. Hughes, I know you got to go, my dear. So please let the folks know what you have going on.
Well, still bringing out there more of the news, so that way you won't be fooled by the trades as well as mainstream media. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel, click the bell notification, and also follow me on Rumble. I do need to upload more videos to my on that channel there, so that way, just in case I do get canceled from YouTube, you can find me there as well. Also, be sure to subscribe to me on X, and I shall see you all next time. So, thank you all for having me. Thanks for having me, Lorena.
Welcome.
Nice seeing you again, Michelle. Hey, Coltrane, we need to talk so we can go ahead and get into that whole.
I'm with you, man. We gotta collaborate. I hear you. I hear you.
I'm just a fan, man. It's great to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lou. All right, y'all take care.
Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah, you make up a great point, and this was something I think I was talking with Lou and Vash about this backstage. Looking at this outfit, I have no desire to buy it. When I see the film, I'm seeing Tiana as either in her beautiful green wedding gown or the outfit that she would put on when she was working, or even the flapper outfit that Facilier, flashed her back to.
You know what the proof of the pudding will be? If they put out toys in this and in the original costumes, and the other ones sell and this one doesn't.
Yeah, a lot of people said this, by the way, that she looks like Eudora. I agree with that.
She looks like her mother. I didn't know who this was when I first saw it.
Didn't mean to cut you off there.
The interesting okay, so I'm going to look at this from the engineering side of this and from this particular animatronic side of this. Because it's moving so fast in every reference I've seen, I can't judge whether or not there's compliance, if this is consistent with other advanced animatronics, so it looks more human. Compliance refers to the amount of bounce and reflex that happens. Yeah. If it's too stiff, like what Vash was just doing, it takes away the magic, right? If it has a little bit of bounce, that's normal. The compliance is built into it. If you are riding, if you are on the attraction Spaceship Earth, in the mathematicians area, you have one of the most beautiful examples of compliance. He's holding the gyroscopic compass, and when he's moving, you're mesmerized because it looks human. Everything's very smooth. There's a natural bounce and stop to it.
So
it's not
fluid,
it's not herky jerky. And when I see this in real life, I'll be able to tell you whether or not they cared about that at all, and whether or not this looks human. I mean, there are elements here that I get excited about, but at the same time, I know they're using electric motors. I have no ideas what the frame material is built out of, because if she's built as heavy as previous iterations of animatronics, and mind you, they've always been heavy. I mean, even the newer versions have been heavy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so if they're using electric actuation, they're going to break down more frequently. You might see. I mean, look at what happens to
Rise of the Resistance.
In Rise, where he falls over every once in a while, right? Just turns into like half the guy. Yeah, Hondo's a trip when he fails. That's crazy. Yeah, so it's really weird. And then, by the way, on that on the attraction for the spinny thing, the Millennium Falcon thing, Smuggler's Run. On that, by the way, if you thought you had nothing to do with what was going on there, you're right. That is a carousel that you get into that goes around in a circle because it's a spinner, and it gives you those effects that make it feel like you're moving. The problem with it, primarily, is that when the video cuts out, you're going to be challenged not to get sick, because you don't have visual reference for all the motions that are going on when it's blacked out, because that screen will just go. I've been on that attraction when it decides to take a nap. That's no fun. This morning. Anyway, sorry. It's just really important. The physical part of theme parks are the most important. The kinetics, these things. That's why I always mention, I go back to this. Look, her costume doesn't bother me. It just isn't consistent with the period that they're trying to tell. But neither is the history of jazz, which the movie originally perverted at the time. There's a whole lot of things that got perverted in the film. I didn't care all that much. It was a beautifully done animation. Trying to convert Splash Mountain into this made zero sense. Tiana deserved her own attraction. That's always been my argument. New Orleans Square could have easily been expanded at Disneyland. There's room there to, well, because they keep closing restaurants and other things. There's actually some room where you could move some things around backstage to add a little bump out like they did for Indiana Jones. There's not a lot of room back there, and they certainly would have to push beyond the berm. But there's a way to reconfigure things so you could have gotten more room for an attraction that was not a repurposed thing. And there's more problems with this, aren't there, Bash?
There are a myriad of problems. What do you? Which ones are you referring to specifically?
It seems to be leaking considerably.
Well, yeah. So I know the logs themselves have had issues where they'll, for example, they'll sink because of leaking issues and so forth.
Issue, isn't it?
Yeah. And I would think that they would heavily refurbish these when they're prying that Brer Rabbit off the front of that off, right? Hopefully that's what they do. But this is aging infrastructure. It doesn't look like they're addressing some of the basic concerns that I think a lot of people have regarding this attraction, right? Like the lift mechanisms and so forth. Those could obviously be upgraded and replaced. I haven't heard any word that they're actually addressing those. So and they don't have the money to, let's say, redo the sets because they're all made out of concrete. This was a way of minimizing wood rot that would happen with some of their classic attractions that would contain water. So they're not redoing those because that would require jackhammers and obviously time and money and effort. Can't do that. So they're putting flowers on top of those things, for example. And I think the scrutiny over this animatronic is justified because, well, we're getting so few of them, and this is an iconic attraction.
And
the bar
is
set very high. Go ahead, Luke.
On that question of few, take a look at the picture in front of us. Anybody want to do the math on how many figures are in that picture?
Yeah, so we're talking, if we include Louis the Alligator
8?
there. Yes.
All right, now go to the newly redone building instead of steamboat scene and add up those.
Right. So that's what we're getting to
the new
now.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the new one.
And when you add those two together and you know how many total are in the ride, what's left for the rest of the ride? That was what I first thought when I saw these pictures. I thought, wait a minute, didn't we just use up our quota of animatronics for the whole thing? What are they going to do with the rest? Projections or not at all? Or just sound effects of crickets and oh boy, we're in the swamp for 20 minutes? I mean,
this was my reservations about the whole thing starting out because Splash Mountain originally was designed to contain as many audio-animatronics as possible. The idea was to preserve as many America Sings audio-animatronics as possible.
Yes,
so
yes.
if we can make it bigger and better, we will. So to take all of those out and to only give us dozens in a space that contain hundreds, you're gonna have some blank spots there.
But especially when they're all concentrated in two scenes.
That's true. Yes,
right, because
that
with
is
the
very true.
original attraction, because of all those animatronics, when you would be floating by and you go from scene to scene to scene, like I'm thinking the one where they're in like the swamp and you have like the frogs that are squirting water back and forth, the ones that would come up and down and out of the water. It was a very
and the rabbits listening
kinetic
to the scary story before you go over the hill. And the birds up above.
The vultures,
the honey stuff. With the bees?
Think about Tony's team and how forward-thinking they were to have the queue turn around with a window where you could watch Brer Rabbit rocking back and forth, laughing, and at the same time you would have the guests going by that same thing.
The train going through the finale.
Theme park design is about kinetics, and I always sound like a broken record when I talk about it. But they kept building on that game as they went, and this is so disappointing. There are books written about this, guys, out there, and it's so frustrating when you see how the game was so elevated that the goal was to top the last guy. How many things can I do that bring this more to life? Well, it's not screens. The reason that guests used to poo-poo, to use a nice set of words, Universal attractions was because they relied so much on screens. They felt inauthentic. There wasn't anything tangible there. And yes, it is pathetic, Peter. But there isn't that anymore. if you're going to reduce this down to 17 total, is that what I heard?
Yeah, it's 17 or low 20s, something like that. It's dozens
versus well over 100. And you know, some things got changed over time, but what was the point? I mean, America Sings was worth salvaging. You know, every single thing they could get out of there that could come out of there,
and they tried.
And we decided that we would just throw all these amazing works of art, working works of art, physical works of art, motion art, robots, the original iterations of things that did all of this with very minimal, believe it or not, machinery involved.
Yes.
You threw them away. You destroyed them.
And Tony understood that these things were never going to be replaced. I mean, if the only time you were going to get a large batch of audio animatronics like that was back in those days, back in the very, very early 80s or 70s, late 60s, that kind of thing. So to preserve things from that era was important to the Imagineers. I mean, it was like Culture said, they didn't want to throw it away. So Bruce Gordon and Tony Baxter, when kind of laying all this stuff out, they took every single one of those animatronics, put them on like these info cards and put them up on this drawing board here. And it was, you know, they mapped out the entire attraction and utilized as many of those figures as they possibly could. But at the end, they were left with a bunch of like foxes, hens, some gators and stuff. And it was like, where do these guys go? Oh, I have a brilliant idea. Let's go ahead and make that part of our finale with all these animatronics that are, you know, celebrating Brer Rabbit getting away from his captors, right? And we're going to have him on this big old huge showboat.
Big
now,
party.
this was...
And it was such a great finale to like, because you go down this huge drop and you're in the briar patch. Brer Rabbit's free, he's happy, and, you know, celebrating with all of his friends. And I tell people it looks like almost like a scene out of the Muppet Show.
To the point, when you saw that scene when it first came out, and I was there, I guess in a soft open period. Fantasmic was later. But when you saw Fantasmic with the finale on the Mark Twain, you thought, oh, that reminds me of
Splash Mountain.
Yes.
This debuts in 1989, July 17th, and then 1992 was Fantasmic, so absolutely correct, Lou. And this showboat was amazing, by the way. Culture talks about kinetics. This whole thing rocked back and forth with all these animatronic figures on it. It was actually a kind of they had to solve some creative problems here. They had to bring in Bob Gurr for his consultation on getting this all to work because it was so complex. Go ahead, Culture.
And heavy.
Yes.
Heavy. And again, it comes down to how you create these things. And I mean, look, the wheel spins and throws water around. I mean, it's like it's like you were looking at this thing going,
calliope and all of the instruments and
and the hens dancing and the foxes and the pig and everything. I mean, it's just like, this is amazing. It's crazy. It can't. This is something that should have been revered as an art piece forever. This is, you know, for all the bologna sausage they try to regurgitate that Walt said that the parks are not museums. That's garbage. You know, Marty Sklar even tried to sell that line. You know, when he was selling him, trying to get his space as a as a permanent creative-minded legend for the company. He didn't have to even do that. He was going to be a legend regardless, but he tried to sell that bologna sausage back in, I think, 2017 or something. He came out and tried to say things when they were talking about that things were changing. Right. It's all lies. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't have the reverence we do with the Hall of Presidents. We wouldn't have the reverence we did for, Lincoln in the theater, right? And we wouldn't have those things as part of those American history. That's our culture. That's Disney was Americana. Disney tried to sell Americana today in the form of a Valentine's card, but I don't know if you guys have already talked about that.
Yeah,
but,
we did.
Yeah, we did.
But that is a little piece of Americana. Disney doesn't do Americana anymore. They've rejected Americana, family, and clearly their own history. And they love cultural Marxism. That's their thing.
And you know what? It isn't always about the big stuff that we're talking about, which is brilliant. I will give you a memory. I've been an observer of this stuff since I was a kid. They always talk about taking me to the ice capades, and I didn't watch the skaters. I watched the guys up in the flies at the Pan Pacific Auditorium working the spotlights. That's just who I am, you know? But the first time I took my dear departed dad on Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland, when you come up out of below on the lift and you're going around that circle that goes past the line before it gets to the unload, my father notices along the water line brown concrete splatters that are supposed to look like mud, and turns to me and says, "You know there's no mud in that water." Wow. That's the kind of tiny little detail that was just how we do things here that they have got the time, the money, or the interest in.
Michelle, I'm sorry, I want to ask Michelle. Michelle, have you had a chance to ride Splash Mountain?
Do you know I never rode Splash Mountain because I didn't want to get splashed.
That's the fun.
No.
I don't want to get my makeup messed up.
Come for the mountain, stay for the splash, right? But
oh man. Well,
well, you missed it.
Yeah. There's always Tokyo, thankfully enough.
You may not live to pass this way again.
Flume, and if you're like me and you have the worst luck whatsoever, you will get splashed before you even really get past the drop. You know, when they first drop you, and you know, when you're just kind of floating around, and they come down and got splashed like all over the place. But
so what's going to happen to this scene here?
Yes,
well, we might have information on that.
Yes.
So Splash Mountain Archives was kind enough to share this before actually taking it down. So I think you got a call. But we can go over it. Sure. It says right here, in the new finale scene, we are invited to a Mardi Gras celebration with Tiana's palace serving as the backdrop of the former Zippity Lady showboat. So you can see right here. So this is that photo, maybe going forward a little bit,
but not much, right?
Yeah,
where
that
curve
is right. So the showboat is where the Tiana's palace kind of mansion facade is right now, and then where the gators are and where this where these foxes are on the right. Keep note of those as we go forward. To our left, we are greeted by Charlotte LaBeouf and Eurodora, Tiana's mother. They replace the former Swamp Boys. So that's where those gators were on the left of that. And you can actually see in the footage that Disney revealed Eurodora in the background. And you can see that right there. And you could take note, that's Disneyland's Splash Mountain log in the foreground right there. So that is very, very interesting. On stage is Tiana and Lewis. The figure of Lewis seen here is the same one that was shown off at Destination D23 back in September. And as I mentioned before, Tiana is an A1000 animatronic, the newest generation of AAs as conferred by the NOLA Tour. So you can see both them right here. I guess they'll be taking center stage on this whole thing. Not quite the myriad of foxes and hens and everything else, but I guess there is more as well. And just behind Tiana and Lewis is Naveen and little brother Ralphie, whose portrait was revealed back in June of 2023. Like his portrait, he's seen here playing the drums. So,
and those are we went to New Orleans to do research video, Lorena. Remember when they said, and these are these drums, and we're going to have a copy of them in the ride? That's them.
We saw these drums in the Jazz Museum, and we're going to recreate them. It's like, who?
So you need to do 2 years of research on that, huh?
2 years of research in that.
We had to eat at Dookie Chase's for at least a week in order to come up with that idea with the drums, you know.
Exactly.
On the mouse's dime.
Yeah.
I look, I mean, I'm not even going to get started.
I mean, how can I think I have to. They were in New Orleans, but they didn't really take in the essence of New Orleans. As somebody with family from New Orleans, you're telling me this is going to be based on New Orleans culture. If after that drop, I expect to be dropped right in the middle of the crew of Rex.
Yeah.
During Mardi Gras, I expect to see glitter. I expect to see, other animatronics lining both sides. I would expect to see that kind of kinetic atmosphere, because that would tell me that you actually understood New Orleans, not this stoic structure and a couple of animatronics from the film.
Wouldn't you expect that the ascension to the apex of the drop to be like a tour through like the cemeteries?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a lot
the
of peop-
cemeteries,
Yeah.
the kind of ending up there, like you would actually go through the quarter.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating
Yeah.
piece of New Orleans history. The reason why death is a celebration and not as what we would traditionally associate death with, being this kind of sad or somber atmosphere or tone, is because, well, lifespans weren't that long next to a swamp, so people would go very, very
Yellow
quickly, and it's
fever.
like. Right, so it's like, all right, so we can be mortified, or we can have a celebration of their life, and that's kind of how they treated it.
What
So
this scene should have been is the second line. It's just that simple. The second line is when we've seen the mourning band playing the sad songs, and then bam, they break out into Dixieland.
Yes.
Got the
there you go.
umbrellas.
Should have been the other
and-
stuff. Remember in the old ride, going up that hill.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, we're gonna go far. It was very, very spooky music.
Yeah.
Well,
Could
a lot
have
of-
been the morning stuff, and then when you splash, boom, you're into the second line, and the trumpets are playing, and
well, that's the
no.
thing. So this is what's going to be in that scene that takes you up that lift hill right here. We're going to see this Mama Odie figure, and that you can actually see the glass bottles being hung up on that opening, as is currently. A lot of people wanted this to be Dr. Facilier, and as I've told people before,
Yeah.
well, they weren't allowed to use voodoo. And interestingly enough, even in this material that they've released yesterday, they actually refer to as the 200-year-old Bayou fairy godmother
Oh hell no!
instead of the voodoo priestess that she was, that was her occupation. It was the Queen of Voodoo, I believe, the Voodoo Queen. Anyway,
Yeah, she was, like the I want to say akin to say Glinda the Good Witch from The Wizard of Oz, and Dr. Facilier was like Wicked Witch of the West, except his was very dark use of voodoo.
he
but
was
voodoo,
Jeffrey Holder in Live and Let Die, for God's
yeah,
sakes.
I mean, voodoo is as essential. Well, I won't say essential, as a part of New Orleans culture as anything. There's voodoo shops around. Voodoo being practiced by a lot of Haitians who were freed or enslaved or whatever in New Orleans. That's what happened.
right.
So to sanitize this by, instead of calling her a voodoo priestess and keeping in line with, not to say that they all do, but they set this up in the film, you're going to erase culture by calling her a fairy godmother instead. Is this what they
Bayou
call
fairy
diversity and inclusion?
I'm just saying this is the kind of the stuff that they've been doing. The Bayou, what is it? The Queen. What is it? It was. I'm sorry. It was the Voodoo Queen of the Bayou was her previous title, and now she's the Bayou Fairy Godmother. I mean, this is what they're
Lewis-
doing right here. So
A bibbity
Lewis
bobbity
said-
Bayou.
it's just
Just thinking of what Lewis said when they asked Lewis, and they were asking about voodoo. He said voodoo, like the kind of voodoo that Mama Odie do. Do you remember that
Right.
line?
Right.
So you're going to tell me we're not going to remember that?
that they don't want you to remember the film. That's the thing. They're trying to get away from the film, and that's actually why Tony Baxter said, "Peace out, I'm gone," because he saw the vision initially. It's like, you know what, maybe this can work. But as soon as it was, well, we want to not necessarily reference the film because the film is problematic. We want to go with this second chapter story, and kind of. Right some of these wrongs, be authentic to both Black and Louisiana and New Orleans culture. He was like, you know what, I'm out, because he understood the expectations of people going into this expecting a Princess and the Frog attraction and not giving them that. It just didn't have a chance to succeed in his eyes.
Goodness, it just blows my mind that Princess and the Frog, the film, okay, granted, John Lasseter championed a lot of it, which I appreciate. That's problematic now.
It's almost like they're using
Go
this
ahead.
as
Princess and the
necessity.
Frog.
Oh, go ahead, Lou.
No, all I said was first Song of the South, and now Princess Frog.
Yeah.
So basically, unless you're a socialist collective making hot sauce for the masses, we can't do you at Disney, right? And let's put some radical graffiti on the outside just to prove it.
This is why I'm not necessarily optimistic about this attraction, because to hear what's going on behind the scenes with this whole thing, to hear how we have gotten to this point. I mean, if I would have told anybody, hey, 10 years ago, we're going to get a Prince and the Frog attraction, people would be like, yes. And then you say, well, it's not going to necessarily be themed to Prince and the Frog, as people have told me, as some kind of like, gotcha, look, it's Tiana's Bayou Adventure, not Princess and the Frog. It's like, that makes it better somehow? But okay. But it's going to be her sequel story. It's not going to feature any of the characters you like, Ray the Firefly, Dr. Facilier, or many of the songs that you like. It's not going to feature voodoo. It's not. It's going to be this food co-op exploration, and we're looking for an ingredient, probably love. I think a lot of people would go, wow, that sounds kind of bad, because it is. And so people diluting themselves and going like, oh, this is really great. No, you don't understand. This is really good. It's like, no, it's not. There was a great attraction here, and they didn't even explore it because they're incapable of doing that, both on a skill level.
At the same time, they're going to take their most popular, biggest piece of IP princess and do a splash pad.
Exactly.
And a rushed TV show by a storyboard artist in Canada.
Yeah,
that's
Vancouver.
the thing. I said, if that movie comes out and it's great, and as Pro and everybody else, we hope it's great. But if it's great, it's going to emphasize great, now we can do an attract. Oh, wait, we already did. Oops.
I gotta ask, Michelle, when you see this is granted you haven't been on the original Splash Mountain, but looking at this art and listening to kind of like what we've been saying, would you even be interested in the version of Splash Mountain they're coming out with now?
With this being the version, right?
Yes, with this being the version.
I mean, only if I was told that the actual ride itself was a lot of fun, because everything about it just looks very generic.
And
because
I think the ride
like
itself, you mean the physical sensation of going down?
Yes, like the physical ride.
And the point is that there are log flume rides all over the place.
Yeah.
There are log flume rides are a dime a dozen. Not that they're bad, but that they exist. So the thing that's supposed to take it to another level is the theming, is the animatronics, is the music, is the atmosphere. That's what makes it not Six Flags Splash Mountain.
Well, there doesn't seem to be anything about this that would necessarily draw. I mean, I would say, is the target audience not somewhat little girls? I mean, it's Tiana.
Don't get me started. The first thing, and I'll let you go in just a second, Vash, but the first thing I got angry about when I heard about this, and we're going back a while now, was how are you going to put little kids on this? The height is 40 inches.
Yeah, that's what I think. I'm not really getting, like, because you guys were saying a drop in Splash Mountain. That sounds fun to me, but I mean, if you're theming it as Tiana, I feel like it needs to be a ride that little girls can go on, like even like 2-year-olds.
Right, Vash. What was your reaction? Because I know you're ready to burn.
Oh, it's so funny, Michelle, that you say target demographic, because the legendary Imagineers, the legacy Imagineers, I should say, as Disney probably has put them. A lot of these guys who created some of the best attractions of the second generation of Imagineers, going, Big Thunder and Splash Mountain itself, right? Indiana Jones Adventure and all these amazing things that we love and cherish so deeply. They came forward with some of these criticisms when they were showed some of the concepts they were working on for this version of this attraction. And they were told, you're not the target demo. And the only retort was like, but does even the target demographic want this? The problem with this, Michelle, is that, yes, little girls are going to want to see Tiana in the dress as they've seen her in the film, obviously. We're not necessarily getting that, but that's if they can even go on. This has a very steep height requirement because it was the longest, steepest drop back in 1989 when it premiered. So, and you have a lot of guests who actually went through the civil rights era. and who are going to want to see the first black princess represented in a Disney theme park attraction like this. And even they're not going to be able to go on it because, well, the thrill element that used to exist with this former incarnation of this attraction. So it's just all kinds of bad that is going on here. And
I'd like to address the elephant in the room.
Please.
All those great animatronic Imagineer folks, they had kids and have grandkids. How many people who worked on this ride don't?
That is an excellent
for the elephant in the room reason.
Excellent point to make, Lou.
I mean, you can say you're making stuff for families all day long, but if you haven't got one, you don't know what it's about.
Very true.
Or
you don't
even
think, will my kids
the heart
enjoy
of
this?
that. Right. Or even if you don't have children, but you've got, you've got nieces or you've got nephews, thinking, hey, I want to make something that they'll like. And speaking of height requirements, I remember as a kid, you knew that you had grown up when you were tall enough to ride Splash Mountain. But then again, it wasn't really geared towards young children with the theming. It seemed like a very more advanced, like for older kids, or like, hey, I can finally go on that attraction. But like Michelle was saying, if this attraction and the marketing and the target demographic is little girls, and I've seen this happen at the parks where little girls or little kids are really excited to be able to get an attraction. The cast member brings out, that height stick, and they're not tall enough to ride. That is the most heartbreaking scene to witness. So you're going to have a crap ton of meltdowns going on for little girls who cannot ride this attraction, or, little kids in general who cannot ride this particular attraction. And they know that the animated film was geared towards them. So as usual, it's man, we could literally we could talk about this all day long.
Yes.
But
do you think the walk around meet and greet character of Tiana is going to be wearing this safari suit, or is she going to be
she already is
already?
She's wearing a safari suit.
So that's the thing. When you say to your kid, I'm sorry, honey, you're too small for the ride, but we can go to the restaurant and have Tiana's food. Oh, wow, great, Mom. Who's that lady? I don't know who she is.
I don't know who that is. I have no idea. It says Tiana's place, but where's Tiana?
It's bad. It's bad. And again, I mean, look, I feel like when we get together and we really talk genuinely about these things, our sentiments are very negative right now. And yet when we turn around and we talk about Universal and all that they have, not only recently, but on the horizon especially, we have an entirely different opinion. Why is that?
One company understands the business that they're in. Another doesn't.
Especially when it comes to families, because the Kid Zone revamp, that's themed to DreamWorks. You've got Shrek's house. You've got the Troller Coaster, not roller coaster, Troller Coaster, for the trolls. You've got Shrek's outhouse. You've got all of these things that are purposely themed towards little kids, and the entire family can enjoy it.
Put aside the attractions, the characters, the lands. Put all of that aside for a minute, and just tell me how you feel when you walk through the county park of Epcot versus what you saw in that fly-through of Celestial Park at Epic Universe.
Yeah.
Okay? That's all you got to say is, golly, I want to be there. Even if I don't get to ride a single ride or eat a single food or do anything else, I just want to be there because it looks like a neat place to be. The other one used to be. When Epcot was coming, that was my other religion, guys.
1982, and how quickly, Vash, you were encyclopedic on this. How long did it take them to build Epcot?
Oh my God, years. It took them a long time, probably 5 or something like that. I mean, it was
from clearing the swamp stage, but when they really started going, they moved pretty well.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, development period time and all of that was a long time, but it was so well planned, and when it opened, everything worked.
Yes.
It was the coolest thing.
The only thing that wasn't open yet was Horizons.
Right. But that was a sophisticated attraction to get all of those projectors to work in.
You talked before about moving and how you move through a ride. Just the Omni-Dome portion of Horizons and getting you that sense of not just looking at a movie, but of flying through all those things.
Well, and now, mind you, this track wound around itself and zigzagged through itself and went up multiple levels. And you were in sync. You would pass through one level where the projectors on the one screen in that room were doing one thing. You passed through another, and it was doing something else at the higher level. You had the frames lining up with your choice. You had to choose your own adventure at the end of the ride.
And you push that button.
Worked. You could go to space. You could go to the desert. You could go underwater. You would push the button, and it was democratic. Whoever the most buttons pushed, that's what you ended up with, and you had an individual scene. Nothing else. Nothing else has come close to that. And it's just.
The difference is in those days it was, if we can dream it, we can do it. Now it's, well, if we can afford to do it, maybe we'll dream it.
Or maybe not use the pressure washer on the lights in the concrete. You didn't right.
You mean what you used to be able to do even on the embedded
yes, with the fiber optics were embedded in the concrete.
Yeah. Imagineering no longer includes engineering.
No.
Nah. Sorry. Nah.
Please,
but folks, we got some super chats to go through before we get to our last topic. Thank you guys for being so generous and so patient. Over 42 of you guys who are watching. Thank you so very, very, very much. Kiss My Grits for $20 says part 1. Since Disney had to work with Splash's existing structure that doesn't fit with LA geography or Salt Dome, Tiana's Bayou Adventure storyline would make much more sense if Mama Odie transformed guests into a frog during the pre-show. That's genius, actually.
Yeah.
At least that would be in, part of the film, because the twist in that film was you thought the prince was going to turn into a frog, but instead Tiana turned into a frog.
Right.
What a great way to experience the attraction from the point of view of a frog. Wow. And another $10. Thank you so much, Kiss My Grit. So generous. Okay. Part 2, as a frog, you hop on a log, that's what frogs do, and journey down the bayou. WDI could then elevate the ride scenery and animatronic placements to change point of view.
Yeah.
And the end drop could be a steep drop into the river.
I'd ride that.
There's a lot better idea. There's a better version of this ride out there, a much better version of this ride out there, but we'll never see it, and it's so tragic.
Yeah, and it's a shame because they don't.
In the multiverse of madness, there's another park someplace that has all the good versions.
Yeah.
I think they call that Tokyo. Go ahead, Lori.
Yeah, we're gonna wind up going to Tokyo to go back to the days of good old Disney World and Disneyland. Chef Nation, thank you so much for gifting 10 memberships, my dear. Thank you so much for being so generous. And right behind you is Jay gifting another 10 Reina Creole memberships. So enjoy your memberships, everyone. Whoa. We've got lots coming up. Most importantly, Friday afternoon, you guys are going to go with me to the Magic Kingdom as we kind of do a little bit of vlogging. You guys can get to be the studio audience, and yes, we will actually be seeing the construction progress of Tiana's Salt Dome Hobby Lobby Flower Garden.
But don't let that keep you away.
Yeah.
I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. The best park strolls on the internet are hosted by this lovely lady.
Wow, thank you.
Truly, bar none.
Thank you.
And we can't all jump on a plane and go to Orlando tomorrow, but you can be there in spirit with Lorena.
Thank
Very
you.
cool.
I mean, you hear me on here, we talk about the stuff about Disney we don't like, but when I'm there, I actually talk about the stuff that I do like at the parks and give you guys pointers, and we check out the live entertainment, which I love, and I'm so glad that it's back, and things that you don't usually check out, like Tom Sawyer Island. We got to do that while it's still there, and they haven't tried to get rid of it yet. So on to our last topic. Oh my goodness. I was supposed to see it tonight, but I'm actually going to go see it. I'm going to go see it tomorrow night.
I was looking at that clock thinking we're saving you by the bell or something. But,
yes, yeah. But I said, you know what? Nah, not gonna do it tonight. Gonna do it tomorrow.
Hey, you really don't want me to talk about this?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes,
Okay.
I do. I totally want you to talk about this film, and here's why. Okay. When I first saw the trailer, I'm like, who is this chick? I've never freaking heard of her. Who are her friends? I don't give a crap about her friends. And it looks like it's just basically pitched as a Valentine's movie for single chicks who don't know what to do with themselves.
Who are still going to be single next Valentine's if they stick with this stuff.
I mean, it couldn't be like Girls Trip or something crazy, like that with a hint of a rom-com in it. No.
Well,
I'm
I
like,
promise you, there
why?
is no rom in this, and it's only comedic, ironically.
Well, when I look at that picture of those ladies, you know
Yeah.
how you used to watch shows that were supposed to be about teenagers and the girls were all 25 and 30 and it showed, but you were willing to suspend disbelief? These are actually very young, relatively speaking, for the movies, women, but they look frumpy old. They have an aspect of tired that youth isn't supposed to have.
Well, let me express a few things to that point, Lou. They're intentionally being dressed up as younger than they are, because these are all women in their 20s approaching 30 pretending to be teenagers.
Right.
They're also supposed to be in 2003, if I'm correct. So the styles are all 2003. The only have a slight problem with this is because the technology that surrounds this entire film, and I didn't even mention this in my review, is years beyond 2003 in everything that's around them, including the lighted up sign, the video sign that's on top of the cab that's in the back of that picture. Those did not exist in 2003. So,
Why did they randomly pick 2003? Is there a reason?
well, because Madam Web was born in 1973, and she's supposed to be 30 years old. Dakota Johnson is the only thing in this film that is pretending to be an actor. And the three ladies that are with her, these young women that are actresses, they are capable of greater things because I've seen them. I'm beside myself. I keep thinking of my review is 20 something minutes long, and I know Grant will edit it down. I could have done a movie length review on this. This is an hour and 57 minutes long, folks, this film. I could have done a 2-hour review on this hour and 57-minute movie. And I went full spoilers. I mean, for as much as there are things to spoil. But if you're looking for a superhero film, you will be disappointed because there's no superheroes in this film.
Well, that was I sent you the link to Shad and Company, and their first point was that the trailer set you up to believe that these girls were going to get superpowers, and they don't.
Yeah, I don't even think Shad did I only get to watch like the first 5 minutes of his review.
Yeah.
I don't think he even did that service, to be fair. I don't think the guys were critical enough. I'm going to tell you.
Hold on. Does anyone get superpowers?
Okay, the villain's superpowered.
But none of the actual girls do?
Well, Dakota's character, Cassie Webb, eventually recognizes that she has the ability to but she's a precog. She sees different paths for the future. But she doesn't realize that until, this movie starts when she's 30 years old. And there's a theme in this, and I'm not going to spoil that for you unless you want to watch my review. The secret of life is compressions. And I'm just going to leave it there.
That's scary.
And the amount of product placement in this film is laughable.
Well, they had to make money some way here.
It was Wayne's World. It was seriously.
Oh, that's bad.
Okay, it wasn't that bad, but it was bad. Like during my review, I held up my water bottle and I said, "Now I'm not talking about plugs, but anyway, please read. I'm sorry, Lorena. This film,
You feel bad for those sponsors. They thought they were going to be associated with something good. That's why they put the money up to get in it. And now it's like, can I buy back my introduction to you?
I'm going to quote Dakota Johnson here, who said specifically, the script we shot wasn't the one that I saw when they sold me this movie.
That's so crazy.
It was vastly different.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
And she said, "Wow, this is," and I'm quoting her, "I don't know if this is even going to be good."
When did she say this?
Not that long ago. In fact, that quote might actually be in this Hollywood Reporter article, because one of their articles was incredibly harsh. Yeah, I read a lot of things. I don't know if it might be in the variety.
Hey, I like Morbius for
interest. Look, for the sheer memery.
Yes,
this does compete with Morbius. This film is a living meme. I gave you the secret to life. If you watch this movie, you're gonna get that, and you're gonna be like, oh.
Well, did you see the writing credits for the screenwriting duo?
Oh, let me show you, because as soon as I saw it, I said, now it all makes sense.
Here we go. Matt Shazama and Burke Sharpless.
Morbius needs to be above Madam Web, honestly.
Oh, man. This is rough. And these are like their only credits, by the way. There's nothing else.
So Matt and Burke are your guys if you want a horrible movie.
Yes.
Yes.
The dialogue is nonsensical. I really tried.
Last Witch Hunter, I love Vin Diesel, but that movie, no.
As the guy said, the dialogue was as if AI wrote it. So,
wow.
That makes a lot of sense.
I don't know that I got to that part of that, Lou, but yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Look, this is terrible. The dialogue, it looks painful. These girls look like they're in pain trying to navigate their way through some of these scenes. I'm just like, oh, you poor things. In fact, that was my reaction. I'm like, look, Sydney Sweeney's a great actress. I mean, and she's something easy. She's easy on the eyes for the boys.
I was going to say, she wears a great dress at the premiere.
She's gorgeous.
And they hid her. They even hid
ugly.
They even hid Dakota's beauty too. All four of these women are very attractive people. And they're younger than me, so I'm not going to go super creepy on that. But I'm just going to say that, it's you look. They dress this provocatively here. When you go to the movie, you got nothing. There's no. They went out of their way to hide the sex appeal. They went out of the way to hide their beauty. They went out of the way to hide their intellect.
Yeah, I don't like.
But they went out of their way to make it so it seemed like they couldn't speak properly. I mean, this was bad. Normally, I don't go this hard on a movie, right? I mean, I give terrible movies like a 50-50 nowadays because, terrible movies are all we've been getting. So, like, if I say this is a 5 out of 10, just, expect, Ant-Man and Quantumania. Expect, Thor, Love and Blunder. Expect that kind of garbage. This is a 2. This is a 2.
Oh man.
It's I gave it too high a score today. I was like, okay, that was too high. But I mean, honestly, I should have given it a 1. I think ultimately I said 1.5. It's not good. I mean, anyway, please read.
There's something else I'm going to read, but it begs the question. This was yet another movie that nobody asked for.
Phew.
And
Oh,
what
that-
is its reason for it? Yeah, see, you didn't have the audience score before. I think this is way too freaking high because it only has fewer than 50 verified.
But see, that's
rated.
a problem, right? That means, okay, so this film released early. You could see this morning at a matinee, Valentine's Day, like starting at like 10 o'clock in the morning in some places, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was the only person in my theater when I bought my ticket until today. And then it looked like it was like dates that showed up there, you know, and older people, couples showing up there. So I counted a total of 12 people in my theater. The only other person that saw this as a single was the gentleman in the electric wheelchair that was down in front of me. I had a dead center seat in a dead center spot, perfect audio, everything. I set myself up to try to appreciate this film. I did. But a 68% score is like 7 times too high. So that is 100% shilly.
Yeah, I don't. The people who are actually about to pay their own money to see this film is we're gonna get to the reviews. But just to back up to what Culture was saying, granted, I was supposed to go tonight, and I'm looking at the theater. Okay, so there was a showing at 3:00. One person bought a ticket for that. There's a showing at 10. There's only 2 people in that theater. The showing at 7 that I was going to go to, maybe like 15 people all clustered near the center, but way too many open seats. And no one has bought tickets to go and see it tomorrow except for me.
Well, I'm looking at an article in Hollywood Reporter. Is this the same one? On Tuesday the 13th. And the guy says, in an apparent effort to, quote, just get this over with, they had the world premiere last night. Its review embargo ended this morning, and the film opens tomorrow. How does that happen? It's like, we saw what happened to Indy when they let him talk about it too long before it opened. We got to get this over with, right?
When I saw the trailer for this movie, we reacted to it. I said if I was desperate enough for a movie, I would go see it, and I'm not desperate enough. It's a no for me.
This is $11 that you wasted, and if you bought nachos like I did, because I didn't get a chance to eat lunch, you're out $20 and have a stomach ache, and it wasn't from the nachos. But look, the Mahola. Look, if you read Mahola, you just scrolled past it. Mahola Dargis there from the New York Times, right? Top critic. She says Madam Web is a dud, but it's one that Johnson transcends long before the final credits. That's a kindness. And again, the only person that really was allowed to act was Dakota, and it really should have just been her movie. There was no purpose for those other 3 girls to be there other than to just be the object of the supervillain, who truly was the only one with superpowers till the end of the movie.
And I tell you, this film, like I said, I'm getting loyalty points, free popcorn, and free soda, and still I feel like I should
Wait. Here's
Jeremy Johns. Yeah.
Here's Rolling Stone quote: Madam Web isn't as bad as its somewhat botched promotional campaign might suggest. It is, in fact, way worse. A genuine Chernobyl. Wait, it gets better. A genuine Chernobyl-level disaster that seems to exponentially get more radioactive as it goes along. This detour into one of the dustier corners of Marvel's content farm is a dead end from start to finish. It is the Cats, the movie of superhero movies. Not a single decision seems of sound mind. Not a single performance feels in sync with the material. Not a single line reading feels as if it hasn't somehow been magically auto-tuned to subtract emotion and or inflection. The sole amazing factor of this Spider spinoff is that somewhere someone signed off on actually releasing it. A Showgirls of comic book cinema. How's that for a rip?
I really don't think we can top that one.
But other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you like the play? You know,
if you go back, even that positive one I saw was bad. It was one of those.
Really?
Hold on a second.
It was right where you left off. Mick.
I don't know. gave up at that
Oh,
point.
for much of Madam Web, even when it turns bad, it's a pleasure to see Johnson in this kind of movie.
And that was the positive one.
That's a positive one.
Man, that's rough.
Oh,
wait. Here is Johnny Olakinski in the New York Post. Madam Web review. SWAT this terrible movie. From the people who brought you Morbius, here comes more BS. Sony's latest superhero mush is Madam Web, another of the studio's dreary, quote, in association with Marvel movies that make viewers go, on second thought, Ant-Man wasn't so bad.
Okay. That is going to be my barometer when I go and see this. If I'm thinking Ant-Man, the new Ant-Man was better, and I think I gave that movie a 2.
Just imagine the agenda shoved into a Miles Morales Spider-Man movie, and what that possibility, that possibility of that happening was eliminated by this film, because Kraven, the Hunter, is going to be living in this same universe.
Yes,
and it's going to look really bad. Kraven
the Hunter? You don't remember Kraven the Hunter?
Who the heck is Kraven?
Aaron Taylor Johnson has been working out hard for this role, and the ladies, look, you're gonna drool over him, okay? But at the same time, it has the similar level of screenwriting, and yeah.
Here's another line from that review. He shouts, "You have no idea the torment and torture of dying over and over again. Want to bet?"
Jesus, those are brutal.
Oh, I love you guys. That's what we do here on the Spice Lounge. We
Raheem Ezekiel ranks as one of the lousiest superhero villains in recent memory as he shouts belabored exclamations up to 787s. How long ago did Arnold Schwarzenegger play Mr. Freeze?
Oh no!
Oh man! They're just handing us content creators content on a silver platter.
God, the worst superhero movie yet is a phrase I've written so much in the past 3 years. I should make a keyboard shortcut for it. Madam Web is F6.
Oh my gosh! Well, folks, as usual,
I think we can all agree that we can all agree. I have some root canals to have done when this was playing, or I would go see it, right? Without anesthetic.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
Please
well,
send us
folks,
off
we're
there,
gonna
Lorena.
wrap on up here as usual. It's so much fun hanging out with my YouTube friends here, and thank you so much, Michelle, for being able to join us tonight. Please let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me and my sister at Force of Light Entertainment on YouTube. Also on, you can follow us on X and then also Instagram. So check us out there. We've got our first time watching reaction to Christopher Nolan's The Prestige comes out tomorrow. So check that out.
Good film.
Yeah, it was.
Fantastic film.
Good film. Good film. And Mr. Luz Wasserman's Ghost, where can the people find you?
Well, I used to say wherever there is trouble, but obviously I've proven that tonight. A la the Three Amigos. Well, we just finished another genre, guys, on Steven Spielberg's favorite war movie, which is Broadsword. This is Danny Boy. Broadsword. This is Danny Boy. We're doing the next one on a very unsung Tom Hanks and the Coen brothers movie that Lorne, one of the three genre guys, along with me and Tommy Table, has a rather interesting kind of scriptural take on. That's very interesting. We're doing that next. And meanwhile, I'm going to be on the 60K party on, Thursday night with Bro. So,
That's
Thursday
fun,
at 5, there's a special event. And then, I'm available. Weddings, bar mitzvahs, spice lounges.
Showings of Madam Web.
Yes.
For that, call my agent if I had one.
Well, Vash, please do let the people know where they can find you.
Yes, the best place to find me is going to be at that Park Place, joined by, well, a couple people here actually, Lou Arsman's Ghost Culture Casino, and hosted by Jonas J. Campbell right there, doing a slew of videos, but we do live streams every Thursday at noon Eastern.
Yes,
I
looking
think we're
forward
also
to
doing a
watching tomorrow.
10K stream also too at 10 p.m. as well, right on Friday.
We have
right,
a
Culture?
very special Friday, Vash. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah,
very
it's
cool.
gonna be a great time.
And Jonas and Vash and I are plotting some special member perk shows.
Yes,
for
yes,
when memberships begin.
Yes, we are, Lou. Yes, we are. Stay tuned for that for sure. We'll announce them thusly. Also, too, you can find me at Theme Park Universe, covering theme parks all across the world with the esteemed theme park wizard. So please check that out.
Star Tours announces the departure of the show. Darn it.
And Culture, my dear, where can people find you?
Well, it's really easy. I'm at Culture Casino. Not hard to guess. You can check me out at the channel and everywhere else because that's what I use. Twitter, Getter, Minds, Rumble, YouTube, other places. Pretty soon, Insta, Facebook, Gram thing, whatever that is. Yeah, so I'll have that soon. And then I'm going to turn that into the Culture Shopping Network maybe over there. But anyway, check out, today I dropped a video earlier today about everything that we know about the new softcore offering from Disney Star Wars, The Acolyte. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I watched that. That was wonderful. That was
I'm
scary,
gonna have
but
to
wonderful.
watch that.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just had a new article go up on that Park Place today. What was it about? Oh, about explaining to people how these film credits work and how these tax breaks work and why they're a bad deal for the taxpayers in the places where they happen.
Oh, true. Except for Georgia.
Well, even Georgia, but this was New York put $700 million into theirs and got back 31 cents on the dollar in actual economic activity. But they want to do it some more. So anyway, there's an interesting story to be told there. And I told it. So,
well, folks, go and check that out over on that Park Place. And as for you, girl, you know, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on the Twix, as usual, causing all kinds of mischief over there. And you can find me on YouTube, various videos and live streams, especially this one right here, the Spice Lounge, where me and some friends get together and we just chop it up, have fun, and yes, we do definitely indeed keep it real. So again, I want to thank my guests for being here. I want to thank all of you for coming out and supporting the show, from super chats to your chat messages to gifted memberships to just letting people know that the show is out here and ready and waiting for you. So folks, until next time, have a great rest of your day, evening, morning, wherever you are, and we will see you next time. Bye.